My last name is Siebenthal. That stands for Tal, the valley, Sieben, that means the valley of the seven. Yes, I consider myself still a banker. It's my vocation. I used to be a banker in the official debt system with interest, and now I'm in the system without interest and without the debt system as it is now in most of the countries. Yes, the transition from one world to the other was due to some ethical reasons. I met an old lady who gave me at the exit of the church. I was going to Mass every Sunday, nearly every Sunday. And an old lady, a crippled lady, was waiting for me, and she was giving to me the Journal of St. Michael in French. And I was reading this newspaper, and I thought, well, they are right. And it was like a revolution for me in my brain. And I thought they were right, and that our system, the debt system based on the interest rate, is a bad system, and it's really literally killing the poor, the hungry people all over the world. Then I asked to get out of this system, and my best friend in the bank, in the Credit Suisse, became a priest. He left the bank as we were together to keep the bank, and my best friend became a priest. He is now a Catholic priest. He was Catholic but not really practicing, and speaking together, studying the subject, we discovered, each one of us, that this system is really bad. It's making bad to the poor. You have less and less very rich people and more very poor people, and the trend is due to the system. It's really a system based on sins and lies. Then I was asked by a friend of mine to join IBM, the company IBM, the American computer company, and I went to IBM. The conditions were better, the ethics were very high by IBM, but they are in the system too. They work for the banks. They sell most of the computers. I was selling the computers to banks, and it was not very far away from the debt system based on interest rates. It's the reason slowly I went to the banking system done for the poor, and now I'm working very close association with the Pilgrims of St. Michael here in Rougemont. And I'm traveling for them in Africa, in Asia, all over the world, opening small system, mixing Swiss technology and social credit technology for the good of the poor people. The decision to leave was connected to the fact of the system, the debt system at interest, and to some decision we had to take inside the bank which were not ethical. This made, and it was the years of Chernobyl, and I think, like Fukushima, this made clearer that because of financing, there are big mistakes made which are impacting everybody, including myself, my children, my wife, my country. Some decision we are taking. The Pope helped me a lot because the Pope came in Switzerland and he gave a very important lecture in the place where our holy Saint Patron of Switzerland, Saint Nicolas Flue, used to live. And the holy patron of Switzerland is at the same time the holy patron of the world peace. And the Pope gave a very important lectures about the connections between the Swiss banks, the Swiss finance, and the decision taken in the Swiss banks, impacting all the country all over the world, because effectively Swiss banks have a very big impact all over the world. And sometimes a Swiss banker can whisper very little soft words, and this has impacts all over the world in a very strong manner. For example, if some Swiss bankers decide to go against or for a company supporting the shares or supporting the market or supporting a money or a currency, this can lead to either massive employment or a massive unemployment in some sectors. And sometimes we in Switzerland, we are very well protected because it's a country which has no poors. But some decision taken softly and whispering in the office or at the phone can lead to thousands of employees fired somewhere in the world. And it's not only the case for the Swiss banks, it's the case for the American banks or the English banks. And sometimes those people are looking only for the short-term profits, for the balance sheet. And it's nice for the shares, it's nice for the bonuses, it's nice for the salaries, it's nice for the greed of the self, but it's not good for the mankind. No, I left saying the truth to some people who could understand, especially my friend, who thought and became a Catholic priest a few months later. But to make it public, sometimes it's not worthwhile because some people, they don't understand what you mean. They are so much involved. You know, most of my colleagues, they were like sport people taking drugs to keep the pace, the stress of the work. Nearly everyone had to take products to keep the competition. At the beginning, not so much, because in Switzerland you have a culture of secret. You know, in the banking you are kept by a very severe law, one of the most severe in the world, and you have to keep everything you know about your life in the bank as a secret. Yes, about threats and we cannot be sure from where it's coming. But I have got many threats. I have got a bomb, a Molotov bomb in front of my office. I have been receiving strange phone calls in the middle of the night. I have got a bullet in front of my house, from my private house, a complete bullet as a threat. I have been aggressed in the metro by people without any reasons. From where is it coming? I don't know, but there are problems when you say the truth. Yes, but they bark and it's okay. Honestly, I think if I had no faith, if I was not Catholic, I will not be here and I will not be speaking the truth. They were making so much salaries, bonuses, career in the bank. I will have stayed in the bank if I was not Catholic. And I will have a very high salary, higher than even the President of the United States as a banker. the competition is so strong, the pressure is so deep that a friend of mine, father of children, husband of a wife, he had to open a new branch of the bank in my state, in the state of Vaud, which is near the Lehman Lake, the Geneva Lake. And they put on him so much pressure that he ended in a clinic, a special clinic, and he did kill himself. And it's not the only case. The pressure is so strong that, and there are strange pressure too. They ask you to join secret societies like the Freemasons, or they invite you in very strange ceremonies when, for instance, the organizer of the ceremony is organizing a mass at midnight. They call that midnight mass. And he has put his own daughter on the table as an offering. And they were singing horrible songs about this girl. It was his own daughter. And they treat human beings worse than animals. They were a song with treating her like a pig. And you have to go through very strange steps in those secret societies to climb and to have more powers. And they offer you this as a way to climb the society, but it's really horrible. And you cannot be a Christian and do this.
Did you witness this yourself, or is this just what you've heard?
No, I was there. And I quitted the place. It was at midnight. It was the midnight mass. They call that the midnight mass. It's really a mockery of Catholicism. And I left the room with my friends. I told my friends, get out of this. It will become worse and worse. And one of the organizers ran after me and asking me, François, stay, you will see, it's very important for your life. Stay with us. You don't. And the same friend, he married one of my best friend, a very nice girl. And a few years later, he finished in a clinic with psychological problems. What for? And now they are divorced, they have problems with the children. It's very sad. You know, I don't like to judge. Following your question about the bankers, how bad they can be, and if I met bad bankers, I don't like to judge others people. But I met people, they are happy to see other people sad. They are happy to see other people in bad conditions. They take like a sexual pleasure, even maybe stronger, to see the other people in troubles. And I'm sad to say that in business you can meet people like this. I even met somebody who was going to Red China to assist to killing of people, and he had pleasure to see the execution of a human being alive. And he was so happy, he was saying, you see, the Chinese are very clever, they kill the people, but the bullet to kill has to be paid by the family. And he was happy to the last detail. He was enjoying himself. And there are people sick in their mind, happy to make the others sad. About the abundance given by God. God is so generous. I'll just give you an example. In Madagascar or in Philippines, where I am going to open those small banks without any interest. It's not like the Grameen Bank. They say low interest, but it can go very high, and there is a big problem of interest rates above 30% in those poor countries. Our system is without any interest. And in those countries, for instance, if you look at the corn, 1 seed of corn gives you 3 stacks of corn, which makes more than 200 seeds. And in Madagascar or in Philippines, you can have up to 3 crops a year. Then, theoretically, you have an abundance for 100 seeds after 1 year of 60,000%. This is the abundance of God. And you see the abundance of fish in the sea, you see the abundance of fruits, or you see how big is the earth, how big is Africa. Africa is empty, basically. You have some cities like in Nigeria, Lagos, or in India, Calcutta, or Mexico in South America. They are overpopulated, the city, but the country is empty. And the bankers, the financial system keeps the people, they want the people concentrate. They want a concentration of power. They want those people as slaves under the banking, ruling, debt system at interest. But God made Earth very big, and we Swiss, we prefer to have our population all over spread all over Switzerland. We have 26 states. Every state has its own capital, and every state has various cities, various villages, and we are spread all over the country. And thanks to our system, which is giving the money creation all over the country, the people are happy where they are stable, and they don't concentrate in a very big city in the capital. Bern is a very small city. I think it's one of the smallest capital of the world, very, very little, very small. Then the abundance of God is huge, but the people ruling the banks, ruling the financial system, ruling the politics, they want scarcity, because they want the price higher and higher and higher. They don't like this abundance. And they plan scarcity. And in Europe, for instance, the EEC, Switzerland refused to join the EEC, the common market, the European Union. They have a very bad politics where they pay the peasant not to produce. They pay the peasant to destroy food. We have a massive overproduction of hundreds of thousands of even millions of tons of food. We throw those millions of tons of food at the sea or in the rivers. We put alive animal in holes. We dig in Europe, they dig big holes. They put the alive animals in the holes, and they pull the soil over the alive animals to kill them. Because the meat, they want to have the price of the meat higher. And they put chemistry, they put pesticide, they put a lot of chemicals in the food. They made the food bad, and people become sick of cancer, of diabetes, and various sicknesses. Because the system wants to have the people sad, sick, in bad shape, employed from very early in the morning up to very late in the night. The man has to work, the women has to work. Now they are planning austerity. Every country in Europe, they have to cut in the budgets, they cut in the health system, they cut everywhere because they say there is no money. But it's completely crazy. Money has to be only a symbol. It's a means to exchange goods. You have plenty of goods. You destroy the goods, and then you put the people to work from very early to very late. They cannot take care of the children. They cannot anymore have a sexual life correct, a marital life, a family life. It's completely crazy. And they have a puppet, and they say, oh, austerity, cut budget, there is not enough money. And the people believe this big lie. It's a collection of lies, one after the other. In the Middle Age, European people were working half the year. They had no computer, no robots, no electricity, very little machines, only a few mills. And they were working only half the year. The rest of the year they could sing, they could have music, glass-tinted, cathedral, artistic life, and so on and so on. And now we have robots, we have machines, we have computers, we have electricity. What do we do with this productivity? Where this productivity is going? A German economist made a study. If you don't have the interest rate in the economy, you save at least 3 hours every day for every citizen. You have your flat or your house 77% bigger. Everything costs nearly half the prices, and so on, just because of the interest rate. Then it's like an idol, the interest rate. We cannot. Charlemagne, the big Karl der Große, Carolus Magnus, the big emperor of Europe, made a law the 23rd March 789. He made a law all over Europe no usury in my imperium. And the King of France kept that to the revolution. In the year 1789, exactly 1,000 years later, the revolutionary, the first thing they made, introduction of the interest rate in France. That means the Kingdom of France, from Carolus Magnus up to Louis XVI, could live without any interest rate, and France was the richest kingdom of the world. Everybody wanted to be French. You had the culture, the music, the theater, the writers, the artists. It was the douce France, the sweet French France. Everybody was willing to speak French. 1,000 years without interest rate. And now we say it's not possible to live without interest rate. Why? I think that the money masters are willing to destroy the nations. Mainly the first target for them is to destroy my country, Switzerland. It's the reason there is a big war, economical war, between the G7, the G20, all those big sharks. And every year, really we can say, honestly, there is plots against Switzerland since years. The American government, since years, is ransoming us by billions. If you want to deal with us, you have to pay us billions of dollars. They are ransoming us. And now they just arrested 2 teens, sons of a Swiss banker in an American airport. They kept those 2 teens 6 hours without any possibility to phone to a lawyer, to the grandparents waiting for them in the airport and so on. They were very rude to teens just to make pressure on the Swiss tax haven. There is a Swiss tax haven, there is tax hells, Enfer with Lucifer. The problem is not the tax havens. Switzerland is giving good conditions. We pay only low taxes. You should copy us and not have more and more taxes on anything. The taxes, because of the debt interest, because of the creation of money out of nothing, because of the compound interest and so on, you pay the taxes to pay the bankers. And the burden is heavier and heavier in France, in Germany, in England, all over Europe, all over the world, in the United States. And the IRS is making pressure all over the world to all American citizens because they pay first the bankers. But all those amounts, those contracts based on an unequal contract, compound interest, impossible contracts, legally, an impossible contract is null and void. And all those contracts, you have to pay taxes to pay the bankers taking benefits of the whole population except Switzerland. But now they want to destroy Switzerland, and they have destroying mostly the nations of Europe. When you see the President of France, he has no power. He cannot create money for his own country. He has to ask the Central Bank of Europe at interest. In fact, he has not any more power, real power, all those ministers. The real power is in the hands of the bankers, the money masters. And most of the bankers, they don't even realize really that. It's only the top guys, the money masters. They are not so many. But they rule the whole world because the whole world is obeying bad laws. Some people send bishops of Canada to Rome to ask Rome to condemn the social credit, the Canadian social credit. And the Pope himself, Pius XII at that time, said, if you have social credit, you will have a very nice society in favor of families, the best solution for families. And I have the same impression. If you cut the cost of the interest rate, compound interest, if you cut the cost of the money creation out of nothing, which is directed to very bad businesses in porno industry, in bad movies, in mass media control, in buying and destroying third world countries, in putting third world countries in hunger, in putting scarcity, high prices, destroyed house, the subprime problem in the United States. You have millions of Americans in bad conditions. If you see a Christian society where you put the resurrection of Christ, the joy of Christ in economy, you cut the interest rate system, you suppress, as I told you, you have at least 3 hours more every day for every person. You have your flat bigger. You have your cost half the price. You have an economy booming. You don't have any more people without income, because with the dividend, you give income to the people, and the people invent their own business, invent their own job, or they can spend time with the children or with the wife, of writing books, painting, making music, searching, inventing, patenting, traveling. We could have a civilization, a Christian civilization, thanks to the robots. You know, you can imagine a world now where everything is done by robots. Then let's imagine everything is done by robots. That means human beings have no more jobs. That means they have no more wages. That means they have no more incomes. What for? You have the robots producing cars, watches, computers automatically. You have plenty of goods, but you have people without any income. It's completely crazy. Then you have 2 solutions. Either you give a dividend, that means a ticket, a way to buy the goods, to obtain the goods of the robots, or you have a war. And the big sharks, the money masters, they are planning a world war now. They plan wars. They are even taking the risk of an atomic war between Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan. The situation is very dangerous. And I speak with the spirit of our holy patron of Switzerland, which is the holy patron of world peace, Saint Nicholas of Flue. Please don't make wars. Give dividends to the citizen. Instead of giving billions to the bankers, give those billions to the American citizen. If you give billions to the American citizen, they will spend, they will buy goods, and you have your economy booming. This is the Christian society. You give the income to access the goods produced by the machines, the computer, the robots, and so on. This is the clever solution. You give the dividend, a portion, an income. The people are free to work above the dividend, but you give at least a minimum to live, to have a normal life. The people will choose a new job. They will invent jobs. They will go babysit. They will go painting. They will go writing and so on. Any golfing, or they can invent new jobs. They will be. We say in Switzerland, money is for the human being like air is for the bird. It's our slogan for this new initiative in Switzerland, where we want to give dividend to all Swiss inhabitants. If a man doesn't have money, he is not a human being, because he cannot vote with his money for the good goods. It's an economical democracy. And we Swiss, we are a democracy since centuries, and we say and we know that a democracy without a dividend is not an economical democracy. It's a plutocracy. The money masters are buying the votes, cheating with electronics, with any means. They are cheating your democracy. They are cheating our democracy.